Hello and welcome to hankgames. My name is John Green, manager of the AFC Wimbledon Wimbly Womblys. Today taking on Rochdale. How do you say Rochdale in English, Rosianna? Rosianna's been gone too long. She doesn't know anymore. It's that makes me think that it's very likely that this is a made-up place name. Meredith, they have somebody who looks exactly like Camps. They've got a redhead with a mohawk. Oh, it's cold out there. It is December 31st. The transfer window opens tomorrow, which is huge for us because we have got to strengthen and deepen this squad for the run-in. As you can see, we're top of the league, but we're only 6 points off being out of the playoff position. So it's tight at the top. What? Rochdale. Is it? Do you know where it is? No, she doesn't know where it is. Very suspicious. She's talking about this. She says, I think it might be near Manchester, but she's talking about it the way that, like, I talk about, well, I'm not going to say it, but, like, when like, my kids ask me, like, is blank really real? And I'm like, yeah, sure, yeah. No, it's just, like, way up in the Arctic. It's just things are different. Yeah, of course. Let's move on. Today's topic comes from Michael, who says, who wanted me to talk about, donated the project for awesome. Thank you, Michael. Wanted me to talk about working with a company where you can introduce a tremendous positive impact in the world, but due to their other dealings, they will probably still have a net negative impact. So, like, imagine, for instance, that you're offered the chance to head up the foundation or charitable work of, I don't know, like Exxon. And you're like, well, I don't really love a lot of what Exxon is doing, but this particular job would involve me, you know, advocating for the Paris Climate Accords, as Exxon has done, and trying to, you know, figure out ways to solve the climate crisis and figure out clean energy solutions, and also maybe make donations to communities where we do our work and find out what are the most effective ways that we can make a difference in the communities where our employees live and work. And like that's a cool job, but maybe you don't love the overall mission of the company. I think this is something that almost all of us are up against in one form or another, right? Like, I mean, I work sort of for Google, and there are things about Google's business. I just want to state it for the record that I kicked that out of bounds on purpose so that guy could get treatment, but then they're just playing as if he's not injured. It's a stunning turn of events from Rochdale. I kicked it out of bounds again so that he could get treatment if he needs it. I don't know how many times I have to do this, but he looks very badly hurt. Will no one think of this player? He's now off the field, for God's sakes. Goodness gracious. This is just it's inhumane what we're seeing from Rochdale right now. It's just horrific. They don't seem to be at all interested in substituting out for their injured player. That's a nice ball. And Lyle Taylor, he's got some pace. He's pacey, and I mean, if they want to play with 10 players, I'm going to let them. Oh, nice job there. And then a really unnecessary slide tackle. Right. So there are things that Google does that I don't like, but I don't mind cashing a check from Google. You know, I don't mind, and I appreciate the support that Google has shown us, not only when it comes to you know, creating the only social media platform where creators get paid through AdSense, but also you know, the support that they've shown us by giving us the startup capital for Crash Course and SciShow. And when they were giving us that startup capital, I wasn't thinking to myself, well, but I don't love this or that. Get there. Oh, are you freaking kidding me? Polion, if you're not going to score in that situation, pass it to Ball John Green, who, by the way, was wide open. Oh, God, I should have passed. But then you think, like, the last time I did that, I passed and it didn't go well. Now they're finally making that substitution, so it's no longer 11 on 10. Really, I tried to give them the opportunity 2 different times to make that substitution, and they didn't take it. And I feel a little guilty, but I also feel like, what else could I have done? So the big first chance of the game goes to Wimbledon, but it comes to nothing, like so much effort in this world. Questionable pass there, but it worked out. So I don't think you can ever really exempt yourself from this conversation. Now, are there checks I wouldn't cash? Yes, there are companies that, you know, Hank and I have had the chance to work with that we didn't work with. You know, there are people that we don't think would be a good fit for our work, and there are things that I won't do for money. There are not a lot of them, though. Man, I freaking love money. Uh, I do not. I do not mind. I do not mind getting paid for labor. So yeah, there are you know, there, like, for instance, when it comes to sponsors of Crash Course, especially the Crash Courses that aren't produced by PBS, because with the PBS stuff, you know, PBS has to find a way to pay for their larger mission, and we are very sympathetic to that and big believers in their larger mission. But when it comes to, like, the Crash Courses that we produced or that are funded mostly by Patreon, like, we want to be very careful about that. As you can see there, Aussie manager disgusted with the refereeing as per usual. Okay, that's good. That's nice. That's really good. Oh, Lyle. Lyle, you just had to do a little bit of a move there. Just a little bit of a move to open up the space. That's good, though. That's good. First time! Oh, my God. How does he not score? Polion with his second amazing chance of the game. Goodness gracious. How does he not score? I put him in because he's an absolutely clinical finisher, and he's had a great. He's arguably been the best player we've had this season. I think I would argue for Ball John Green, then other John Green, then Polion. But he's been a surprise star, especially considering how little he's played, much to the consternation of so many AFC Wimbledon supporters. So, you got it now, and then he just didn't succeed in passing there. So. It's making me think that we might need a little bit of a realignment. But, oh, no, it's 2-on-1. This is not great. This is not great. This is not great. I'm not very good at defense. My feeling has always been, if your work, if you feel like your work is valuable and good and useful, then that's really, really lucky. And many of us never get to feel that way about their work. And so my feeling is always to take those opportunities where they arise. But I'm sympathetic to how difficult it can be. I mean, it's something that Hank and I struggle with a lot in our own conversations about what kind of work to do and not do, and where to, you know, kind of, I guess, for lack of a better term, I'm going to bring out Lyle Taylor because he's tired. I'm going to switch, and I'm going to make Ball John Green the target man, even though he didn't play in the first half. And I think that is going to be the change that we need. Now, I know Lyle's going to be disappointed to come out at halftime, but it's not really about him personally. It's mostly about just feeling like the setup wasn't working with that particular front three. So we're just going to go with a different front three and see if we can have a little more, get a foot on the gas a little bit, you know? We had two really good opportunities, which is above average, I would say, for a professional level AFC Wimbledon game. But we're going to try to have two really good opportunities in the second half and see if we can put at least one of them away. That was very generous from the Rochdale player to give us the ball for no reason. And then that's a good ball. Very good ball, actually. And then Ball John Green. Oh, he has the chance of a lifetime and somebody doesn't finish it. Polion probably would have finished that. I made a horrible mistake. Oh, I'll tell you what, though. This formation is really working. Like, I feel like we're opening up space right where we need it to be, which is good. And now we look a little dangerous at the back. I mean, a little sketchy at the back, but I think we'll be okay. Yeah. So I feel like even within large organizations where not all of the work is good, there is a lot of good work being done, and that is valuable. One of the big frustrations that I have whenever I work with big companies, or in the past in my life when I've sort of done corporate gigs, for lack of a better term, is that sometimes the leadership will change, and then all of a sudden your job changes, even though, like, it's not really the job that you signed on for necessarily. That was a nice idea of give and take, but we don't actually have the pace or the talent for that sort of fancy business. So maybe next time, just a little bit more of the Route 1 football would be well advised. It was a little bit frustrating for me. And you know, and then you can feel like, oh, well, maybe your work was for nothing, especially if, like, a project gets canceled like 80% of the way in, and it was something that you really believed in, but it's, like, not a priority, and because it doesn't necessarily, a lot of times those projects, like, where you feel like you can have a really positive impact, don't aren't well reflected by the bottom line, because that's not what they're about, or because they're about sort of like long-term investments. And that's a great ball. That is a really, 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 that was a great pass from Ball John Green. And now it's just whether this can happen. Oh, it's John Green to John Green. It's fantastic. It's a finish for the ages, and then he's a dead man falling. Ball, John Green. John Green, he gives it all for the team upon his mustache. Where keen, ball, John Green, John Green. Aussie manager loves it. That guy needs a haircut. Really, really fantastic work from ball, John Green. Now, it's the 67th minute. I'm not saying that we're going to shut it down, because we don't shut it down. We believe in the best defense is a good attack. But I'm saying that we are going to make the kind of substitutions that we need to make just to shore things up a little bit, you know? Which in this case means bringing on the only central midfielder we have in Beer to play a little bit of that defensive midfielder role. No rush going off the pitch, guys, okay? Reevesy, there's no need to jog in this situation. A walk will do. And then we're also going to take it down from attacking to balanced. I think balanced suits my interests. I always feel like if you feel like you can do fulfilling work that makes a positive impact on people's lives, then you should do it. But I also don't really feel that qualified to give you professional advice, or really anyone professional advice. I'll tell you what I also don't feel qualified to do is play FIFA. Good lord, that was terrible, but Shia LaBeouf bailed me out twice fantastically. The second save was truly an act of genius. This save you expect him to make, but this save out of position, and then he gets right in there. Admittedly, the ball basically hit him in the face, but still really nice to see. And boy, passing out of the back in this situation, ill-advised. Fortunately, we have Shia LaBeouf. Yikes. Yikes. Okay, this time I'm going to hit the X button if I need to. In fact, you know what? I'm going to try to hit the X button. That was really poor. That was also really poor. This X button stuff is totally overrated. A. Yeah, let's just go with A. There. A worked great. Passing out of the back is the way to do it. There you go. That's nice. That's nice. And then ball John Green. He's in acres of space. He's just going to hold up play for a second and then make a really bad pass. That's who he is as a player and as a person. He's a finisher. He's not necessarily a brilliant distributor of the ball. He doesn't have the best vision. He exists for one reason and one reason only, which is to score goals. I guess 3 reasons: score goals, love his husband, and father his child. Those are the 3. Oh God, Panic at the Disco. Okay, everything worked out better than expected. Panic at the Disco might be a good catchphrase. There's Camps. He's had himself a nice quiet game. Which, you know, isn't ideal for a central attacking midfielder. But on the other hand, if we're winning, then he contributed to that win. So the only other thing I wanted to say about this this topic is that a lot of times people end up working in fields where they don't feel like they're making a big difference, and it can be really frustrating, and you can feel like I don't know, you can feel like you're not sure that your work has meaning, or even like your work doesn't have meaning, and that can be frustrating. Making things that people need, taking care of people's needs or wants, like, is valuable. I think it has value, and work itself has value. Whoa, really bad camera work there. Camp's really celebrating this 1-0 victory. I'm happy about it. I'm not that thrilled. I feel like we could have played better, but we had the critical moment. Of John Green. The last thing I want to say is that work has value even if it's unpaid work. It has value in itself, I think. John Green, in the critical moment, did the critical thing, which was put the ball in the back of the net with his beautiful bald head. So, thank you, John Green. Thanks to all of you for watching. And I just realized how weird it was that I thanked my own name. But you know that I'm talking about the fictional character, not myself. Best wishes.